Today the Gospel brings to us a passage from the Gospel of St. Luke. It is the passage about the disciples of Emmaus. It was the first day of the week, and these two disciples left Jerusalem to go to this small town called Emmaus. And it was not that far from Jerusalem, and it was a town to where people would go usually to rest, to spend some time away from the city, away from the crowds. And so we can see that these disciples, instead of staying perhaps with the apostles or other disciples, leave Jerusalem because they wanted to find some rest and some natural, we can say, consolation. A very different attitude from, for instance, the women or Mary Magdalene who run to the tomb the first day of the week to anoint Jesus, to find the body of Jesus and anoint him. These two disciples were discouraged. And it is in that moment that Jesus comes to them. He comes to the road on which they were walking and starts a dialogue with them in which he explains to them the whole purpose of Christ's death and explains all the scriptures that in the Old Testament pointed towards the death of Christ and that this had to happen. And it was in that moment that the heart of these two disciples was burning with joy, was burning with fervor. So we can see that in times of perhaps discouragement, we should first of all turn to Christ. Instead of having recourse to just simple natural consolations, first of all, we want to have recourse to prayer. That is where we will find the strength that we need. When we are with Christ, we find joy. When we are with Christ, we find strength. And one more thing that we can notice from this gospel is that it was towards the end of the day that these disciples invite Christ to stay with them. And after they recognize Christ in the breaking of the bread, they don't stay there in Emmaus. They run to Jerusalem. They go quickly to tell the other disciples and to tell the apostles that they had seen the Lord. So as we can see, their hearts were yearning to reach out to others. And that is also something that we can do, especially during these times of pandemic. Not only to come to Christ, to stay close to Christ, but also to reach out to others, to evangelize, to do apostolate, to kind of not staying close in ourselves, but to be selfless and to care about the good of others. Have a blessed rest of these octave of Easter, and may God bless you and keep you.